Hill joins me now live from London. Nicola, what more do we know about Kawasaki disease?
Well, we know a fair amount about Kawasaki disease. I've been speaking to one of the experts here in the UK, a child's paediatrician. His name is Dr. Ravi Jairam, and he was telling me about the disease, that its exact cause isn't known, but they think it's caused by some sort of infection. It has symptoms that show in the swollen fingers, swollen toes, and swelling of the blood vessels. And these can be the blood vessels in the heart, the coronary artery blood vessels, which is why it can be serious. Now, it's a childhood disease. The other disease that also doctors are being alerted about, and let me just explain that the UK's Paediatric Intensive Care Society sent out an alert to all doctors, family doctors and paediatricians, saying to look out for symptoms of children arriving with potentially Kawasaki disease, or also toxic shock syndrome. And this is another disease that's caused by an infection that then attacks the body. It's a multi-inflammatory disease. And Dr. Jairam, whom I spoke to, is one of the many doctors who's received this alert and told to look out for it, to see if any children do turn up at his hospital showing these types of symptoms. Now, of course, this can be a little confusing because children do get these diseases and they do normally turn up. But as you said, Maria, what's happened here is that a very, very small number of children with these symptoms, with potentially what could be either Kawasaki or toxic shock syndrome, were tested for COVID-19 and tested positive, which is why the speculation is COVID-19 potentially causing Kawasaki or toxic shock syndrome, or is it causing a syndrome that's similar to these? And this is what doctors are having to look out for. But you were right to emphasize they're very, very small numbers. I believe NHS England say it's fewer than 20. Now, Dr. Jairam told me that in his hospital so far, he's only had 3 children who have tested positive for COVID-19, which actually reflects the small numbers that have been seen worldwide. They say it's between 1% and 5% of cases have been children. And Dr. Jones said one of these was a 14-day-old baby, and all of these 3 were healthy within 24 and 48 hours. He thinks he may well have seen more children who had COVID-19, children who turned up to hospital with a sore throat and a high fever. But the guidelines here in the UK is unless they're admitted to hospital, they're not swab tested. So he says, as far as he knows, they only have 3 confirmed cases at his hospital. But obviously, all doctors now, because of this alert they've had from the society, are now on the lookout just in case any of the children coming into hospital with symptoms of Kawasaki or toxic shock syndrome do also have COVID-19.
And Nicola, given what you've just said, how worried should parents be?
Well, obviously, parents are going to be concerned, particularly because most of us were thinking, well, phew, this is a disease that doesn't particularly attack children. You know, as I said, the cases of children of COVID-19 affecting children at 1% to 5%, and that's based on Chinese research. But parents will be worried, and this is something that the president of the Royal College of Paediatricians here in the UK and elsewhere, medical experts in other countries, because there have been a very few numbers of these children with symptoms like Kawasaki or toxic shock syndrome in Italy, in Spain, and as you said, in the US. So the advice from the Royal Colleges, from medical experts, and from Dr. Jairam here in the UK is any parent who is concerned about their child to seek medical help and not delay. And one of the things Dr. Jairam and I were discussing this morning was he said that there is a theory that potentially parents are delaying seeking medical help because they don't want to take their children to hospitals where there is COVID-19. And this delay can actually then lead to an infection that causes Kawasaki disease or toxic shock syndrome. So the main advice from all medical experts in every country to every parent is, you know, first of all, don't be over panicked about this situation because the numbers are so tiny. But if you are concerned about your child, to still seek medical help, don't delay at all.
Nicola, thank you so much. Nicola Hill, live for us from London.